Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Now, in this video, we'll look at the latest around Arsenal and the transfer window. Lucas Paqueta, Mikel Arteta has directly talked to the player. He's much interested in the services of the Brazilian. Another Brazilian at the carpet. It doesn't look like Edu and Mikel Arteta are working on any other signings apart from Brazilians, but we'll get into that. Serge Milinkovic-Savic, Di Marzio has said there will not be an agreement between Lazio and Arsenal because no one is willing to pay the amount of money Lazio are asking in Serge Milinkovic-Savic. We look at Arsenal interested in Ismaël Bennacer, a former Arsenal player now playing with Milan. 40 million euros is what has been suggested as the price. Moussa Diaby is not a surprise name for Arsenal on their list according to Peter O'Rourke, and also Lisandro Martinez and Eden Zagrova. All those updates will be coming your way in this video. Do a favor for me, hit the like button. Let's get the video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. I'm sorry we were not live yesterday. We were not anywhere to be seen yesterday. Like I said, power shortages always disturbing me here and there. But of course, to start off the podcast today, lads, yesterday we played FC Nuremberg in Germany at the Max Morlock Stadium. And of course, the highlight was Arsenal scored 5 goals against the home team. But I think the biggest headline there was Gabriel Jesus scoring twice on his debut. We finally got a striker to replace Aubameyang, to replace Robin van Persie probably. We now have a player who can change games. We now have a player we can trust on that forward line. I think with Gabriel Jesus, one of the things we saw yesterday, I will do a separate video about him, but I think many Arsenal fans need to be very excited about his ability to hold up the ball, his technical ability, but also his link-up play is absolutely magnificent. The question now is he clinical? And I think as we watch more games with him, as we get to spend more time with him, we'll try to see, is he that clinical? Is he that clinical striker that can take up 3 chances out of 5, 2 chances out of 4? If he can be that clinical, if he can score 2 chances out of 5, 3 chances out of 6, I think that will be a very, very great, great addition to Arsenal. But at the moment, Arsenal fans there are flying. Many of you predicted that he would score in his debut, and he actually did score a brace. So if you predicted that he would score, thank you so much. Let me know in the comment section if you're part of the team that actually scored, and then I will select only one person, and they will be winners for our t-shirt Arsenal jersey giveaway, the home kit. Now moving on to the transfer market. Yesterday rumors were flying around, and this morning they are still moving around. The Arsenal have interest in Lucas Paqueta. Mikel Arteta is planning to get this deal done himself. He's spoken with the player directly. Now, what Arsenal are doing with Lucas Paqueta at the moment, they're trying to explore the player's interest in the North London club. We are trying to talk to him. We are trying to convince him about the project, and that's why Mikel Arteta has called the player personally and told him about Arsenal and trying to get where his interest lies, first and foremost, in playing for the Premier League, but also playing for Arsenal as a club, despite the fact that we do not have the UEFA Europa League. Now, with Lucas Paqueta, there is a lot to talk about. Probably we should do a separate video about him, but I'm going to tell you about a few things about this move. One, the player could cost around £42 million. Surprisingly, I thought it cost a lot more than that, unless the valuation moving around the market is actually below what the player's real value is and what Lyon would actually ask for. But 42 million, that is quite low for a player the quality of Lucas Paqueta. Thierry Henry has also said that he's the best player in the French league. And look, I might not even argue. Yes, there is the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Messi now. But when you look at Lucas Paqueta, the amount of quality that guy has in the midfield is absolutely phenomenal. So he's already told FC Lyon that, Olympic Lyon, not FC, but Olympic Lyon, that if there is a club interested in me, if there is a club that wants to secure my services, I would be very, very open to a move. However, Mikel Arteta, Edu are trying to explore whether the player would be open to moving to Arsenal and also to the carpet. Now, this one really affects the Yuri Tillemans deal, and I think this one is another controversy, just like the Serge Milinkovic-Savic one, because Lucas Paqueta has been on the Arsenal radar for some time. Not only this summer, I think as well in January we discussed a possibility of Lucas Paqueta. As well as Bruno Guimaraes. But then Bruno Guimaraes moved to Newcastle. Then there was no window where Lucas Paqueta and Bruno Guimaraes all leave Lyon in one window. That is in January especially. Now, Lucas Paqueta is a central midfielder, a player who can play for you as an attacking midfielder as well, and a player who can play as either a right midfielder or a left midfielder in any formations. He's played in a 4-2-3-1 in a double pivot, where he's your central midfielder, the ball progressor, and the guy in charge of ball transition, and he does it very well. He's also played as an attacking midfielder in terms of and his ability to create chances from that spot as a number 10 is also immense. And then the ability to play as a left or right midfielder is also one of the gifts that he has as a player. Mikel Arteta loves such players, and I think him available at such a price, if it is true that is below £50 million, I think Arsenal would love to give it a try, and I believe the story. However, what does that mean for Yuri Tillemans and Serge Milinkovic-Savic? It means, first and foremost, for Serge Milinkovic-Savic, Lucas Paqueta is 100%, 100 times cheaper than Savic, and also younger than Savic. He's 25, costing 40 million. That is good business. Serge Milinkovic-Savic is 27, costing in excess of 55 million. So when you look at it, you'll understand why Arsenal would rather go for Lucas Paqueta rather than Serge Milinkovic-Savic. So I think if Arsenal are 100% convinced about Lucas Paqueta, then the Serge Milinkovic-Savic deal is off. If Arsenal are 100% interested in Lucas Paqueta, the Yuri Tillemans deal might be off as well. Now, because when I look at both of them, there is a world where they can play in the same team, but not in the same pivot. They cannot play in a double pivot. We have Yuri Tillemans and Lucas Paqueta, unless Mikel Arteta has plans of changing the gameplay and game plan of one of the players. And that could arguably be Yuri Tillemans, because Tillemans, in my opinion, yes, he's a very, very good attacking player in terms of a midfielder, but he can also be that calm and sit into the midfield and dictate play. The problem is that his defensive output is not that decorated, not that beautiful. We saw it last time when we were comparing him to Serge Milinkovic-Savic. He's one of the players that, yes, they do put in a lot of work in throwing themselves into duels, but they're not winning any. He's actually winning no duels. So yes, he throws himself into challenges, tackles, and blocks, but he's actually not doing enough in terms of getting successful tackles, blocks, and duels. So Paqueta, I love him. I really love Lucas Paqueta. I think if you watch this channel for some time, you will understand that. Very good player, but let's wait and see what exactly is going to happen. But the rumor is that Mikel Arteta is working on this one himself. He wants to get it done. He's talking to the player and trying to convince him about him as a manager, and also the project and Arsenal Football Club as a club, as the club work to see how interested the player could be and how easy the deal could actually be. Now, we are interested in our former player, according to rumors from Italy, and that is Ismaël Bennacer. The player is playing AS Milan and could cost around 40 million euros. Now, the Italian media, I don't know what they've really found in Arsenal, linking us with a new player from the Italian Serie A on a daily basis. Today it is Ismaël Bennacer. Yesterday it was Victor Osimhen. The other day it was Serge Milinkovic-Savic. We're also linked with Rafa Leao. We're linked with Tammy Abraham. on a daily basis, they're trying. I don't know if they're trying to create market for their players by linking them with Arsenal, which is because I don't think we are interested in all of the of these players, right? I don't think we're interested. But what they're trying to do here is they're trying to find market for their players, and they're linking them with Arsenal. Not a bad move, but I don't think Arsenal are interested in Ismaël Bennacer. And all these reports that Arsenal have even made a bid, that's trash. I'm not even following that. So Bennacer is on the rider, but I don't believe the story. I absolutely don't believe the story. Now, Peter Oruk on the other side, I say that Arsenal are no surprise to Moussa Diaby's interest. He has said the player is already on Arsenal's list of players that could replace Rafinha. So Moussa Diaby, Marco Asensio, and Aiden Zagrova, all those players are being explored as options, as players that could join Arsenal instead of Rafinha. Now, listen, guys, and listen to me very well. Moussa Diaby is a player that is, not well known among the fan base and not a popular player. I think if we did a poll of which winger Arsenal should sign, then we could have. We're gonna have that on YouTube. I mean, my YouTube community gives me that right, that divine right to hold a poll with my community. But you will find yourselves picking Marco Asensio or Edon Zagrova over Moussa Diaby because we do not know much about him. The player's only turned 22, I think, this week, and he's a very, very exciting player. One of the most exciting talents in the German Bundesliga right now, and I think one of the most important players at Bayer Leverkusen. Last campaign, he had over 25 goal involvements in the German Bundesliga for Bayer Leverkusen, scoring more than 10 times and assisting more than 10 times as well for them. And I think that is what Arsenal are wanting. And the beauty with him is that he's well versed with the idea of operating on the left-hand side of the attack. That means that Gabriel Jesus goes through the middle, Saka retains his right place, and Moussa Diaby crosses over to the left. Yes, he might have that battle with Gabriel Martinelli, who I think must be shining this season. He's gonna be shining this season. Now that we have a good striker in Gabriel Jesus ahead of him, he's going to be absolutely thriving because he has a player to feed, but then he has a player to distract the defenders and opposition and allow him to get into those advanced areas and also deeper into the enemy territory. So, but with Moussa Diaby, a player that I would love Arsenal to see, to sign, a player that I think if Arsenal brought him in, he would give us that. Probably not the kind of elevation Rafinha brings instantly, but in the next season, in 2 seasons, you would be having 2 players on that left-hand side that are untouchable. That is Moussa Diaby and Emile Smith-Rowe. Of course, Martinelli and his ability to play down through the middle. So Peter Oruk says Diaby is not a surprise for Arsenal. They've always wanted him and he's always been there as a player they're interested in. Lisandro Martinez, looks like Man United have made a bid for £43 million, which is 50 million euros. Arsenal have not yet matched that bid. And then Edon Zagrova would be happy to join Arsenal. Very open to a move. However, Lille Metropole are willing to keep the player for another year. They want to keep him for another year to see what exactly he is going to become. My name is Cossy. Hit the like button. That is it from me this morning.